Hello and welcome back to Leo's Book Reviews. This week we finished up the Canon Chronicles with Crystal Kingdom. This is a trilogy by Amanda Hocking. Final book in the trilogy, thank goodness. As you can see, I picked up the one that just had all three of them in it, but I will be putting the cover art up of Crystal Kingdom because, as I mentioned in the last two videos, cover art is beautiful and amazing and I love it. So, Crystal Kingdom is the final book in the trilogy for the Canon Chronicles. This wraps up Bryn's quests, her relationships, the fate of the Canon and Doldistum. It wraps up a lot of loose threads. At the end of the last book, Constantine Black showed up while Bryn was on the run after accusing Queen Mina of the Canon of treason, basically, and plotting to kill a lot of people. Constantine Black shows up, basically reinforces what Bryn thought she knew about Queen Mina, and they continue on their quest to save Doldistum of the Canon people from the Queen's treachery. It feels like that the next village they went to, and the Trill, was a previous trilogy, so I am going to look into that to see if I'm correct and that was the previous trilogy in the world of the Trill. But yeah, so it definitely felt like we were going back to familiar ground in a story that already happened when they went to the town of the Trill. So they end up thinking they're gonna go back to the Kingdom of the Scogere and make their stand there. Then a lot of other stuff happens, and I'm not gonna give anything else away because of spoilers. But it was a satisfying wrap-up of the story. It killed the love triangle between Bryn and Constantine and Ridley in a very neat way. There's definitely no chance of that happening. The kingdom's royalty issue was resolved. They wrapped up a lot of the loose threads that have been hanging between the first and second books. So one thing that was interesting to me about this was the character of Bryn. I took a step back from the story and just objectively looked at her and her thoughts and her actions and how she carried herself throughout the story. And that is normally the type of female protagonist that I am in love with. So, I mean, I'm thinking Princess Leia, General Leia from the Star Wars universe. I'm thinking Hermione from the Potter universe. I'm thinking many other strong female protagonists that I love. And I just could not relate to Bryn. I don't know, it's not that she was too young. It felt like a very forced character development for her to realize what it means to love. Like, she's been pushing off this idea of love throughout the whole trilogy, because she's devoted to her kingdom, which was fair. I mean, I understood that. I'm devoted to my career. But the realization she has about love at the end of the trilogy is very sudden and very forced. Like, you see where the dominoes should have been falling for this to happen. But you never... That realization with Bryn should have been a gradual seen in her actions and her thoughts as she comes to this realization about love. And it's not there. It's all just very love. There's her realization, and it's done. And that's her character growth, which there was such a potential for more for Bryn and everything else that was going on in that kingdom and in that trilogy. So it was a good ending to a trilogy. Like I said, it wrapped it up very nicely. There was no loose ends hidden around. Still definitely gave the option of expanding the universe, which I assume she wanted to do. So really did enjoy the wrap up. Just, there's that little bit of disappointment about Bryn. I felt her character development definitely could have been handled better. I honestly related more to Tilda. And not even because she was going to be a mother, but because of how she handled herself and how she was like, do her job no matter what was happening and taking the risks that she needed to take. And while Bryn was, at the center of the story doing these things as well. It just didn't, there was no emotion driving it. Like, she kept saying she was devoted to her kingdom. And it didn't show. She kept saying it, but it didn't show. So, that's kind of my rant about it. But again, it's a good book. I do really want to know what happened to the rabbit at the end with Queen Mina, but they never say. So, anyway, if you read the first two, definitely worth picking up the last one to wrap up the trilogy for you. Definitely not a standalone book in this case, but good trilogy, short read. Again, you can pick it up and just they condensed it into one printing for you, so it's easier to just keep going. And now that I think about it, honestly, this almost would have been better just as a one complete book rather than trying to break it into a trilogy. But I also understand, publishing, they're trying to go with the market, and YA trilogy seems to be the trend ever since Hunger Games, so I see where they were going. But still, it's probably as big as a normal adult fantasy book. It's at least as big as one of the Harry Potter books later on. So, anyway, thank you for listening. I appreciate your time. Any likes or comments that you want to put on the video would be great. And you have a good day. Thank you.